Yes, sir. Okay, we got this debate going on. Is there more accidents with the Mustang than the other uh, sports cars like the Challenger and the Camaro? The Mustang is about, I've heard through the grapevine, the wheelbase is 3 inches shorter than the Camaro and 9 inches shorter than the Challenger. Anytime you got a longer wheelbase, you got more stability. So the Challenger has more stability, I would think, at high speed. Now, the Challenger also has a windscreen underneath the engine, which the front end stays down at higher speeds, especially over 130 miles an hour. The Challenger is a lot safer to drive fast than the Camaro or the Mustang. And the Mustang being a lot of lift at 130 miles an hour. And if you go over 130 miles an hour, it's at your own risk. And most of the time, it's going to be like 9 rollovers. Don't go fast with a Mustang. Camaro might you might be able to go a little bit faster with a Camaro, but the if you're gonna go fast, get a Challenger. Um, that's my opinion, and you can't take me to court for just thinking that might be the deal. But the problem of it is that 130 mile an hour Mustang will start lifting off the pavement, and you're basically driving an airplane. And if the road is bouncy, that's less control, and there's very few roads that are smooth at 130 miles an hour. You have a little rise and a little left, right, left, right, lift, and that's very dangerous. So I would keep a Mustang probably realistically under 115 mile an hour. So the uh, the reason that you don't want to go fast is if you roll uh, Mustang, I think it's made out of aluminum. Don't put that down in writing, but it crushes up and little ball if it rolls, and so the F-150 Ford pickup, if you roll that, all the outside sheeting falls off the truck, and you end up in this little bitty cage that's all wadded up in a knot, and you're lucky to be alive if you roll a Ford pickup. So I can't say about Chevrolet or Dodges, but I wouldn't want to roll any of them. So the best policy is to drive slow and careful, and don't take any chances on curves because you don't know exactly how much it's going to take to come off the road. You got an idea that you can go faster, but it's better to go slow around the curves. And then if you want to go faster, wait till you're leveled out and going straight. So the uh, the thing about it is, if you make a mistake, it may be your last mistake. So you don't want to make any mistakes in any vehicle. Now, a motorcycle is basically lean, not really lean, but you're turning the wheel like in a left-hand curve. You're turning the wheel to the right, and you're making a left-hand turn. Sometimes when you're young, you get scared and try and turn the thing to the left. All that's going to do is take you off the road. So that's the reason these youngsters don't make these curves is because they can't remember that they have to twist that handlebar to the right to go left, and so forth. If they're going right hand turn, they've got to be able to turn to the outside of that curve, like to the left, in order to go right. And that's opposite of a steering wheel. If you're in a car, you turn to the right to go right and turn to the left to go left. But you cannot oversteer and turn too tight in a curve because the rear end will have a tendency to come out on you a little bit. If the rear end comes out on you a little bit, it's very difficult to get back under control in a curve. So the best thing to do is drive careful and slow and respect other people in front of you, and make sure you're not coming up on someone's bumper at 115, 20 mile an hour. You cannot just slow down to 70 or 75 or 80 like that, because it takes a while to get back down to the ground before you've got traction for your brakes to work. So you need to learn from us experienced drivers that's got a few miles under us. You need to listen to what we're telling you so that you won't end up in a bad wreck, and you'll get to live healthy for a long time. So you don't want to get injured, because you don't really recover from these injuries like they tell you. Oh, your body will recover. Well, it don't. You have to live with pain for a long time. If you injure something, you'll be in pain the rest of your life. And the thing about it is get a wind shield underneath the Mustang, underneath the engine, so that the wind will not lift it. If you're going fast in the wind, the Mustang will rise, and you'll lose your steering ability. And you think, well, I got it under control. It's still in the road. Well, it's not really under control if you're going over 130 mile an hour. You're out of control completely in a Mustang. So Challenger, 140, 145, 150 mile an hour. If the wind's not blowing and the road is smooth and there's no traffic, you've got a chance of surviving 150 mile an hour in a Challenger. So I would suggest you trade the Mustang for a Challenger right off the bat if you're going to be driving fast. And I love a Camaro, but Chevrolet don't seem like they want to build me one in my price range. I would like to have that. I think 550 horsepower would be plenty for me, because of that's where I like to cruise at, 140, 45 mile an hour, which I think I could do in a Camaro. But you've got to be careful and know the road. Also, there's coyotes, rabbits, little creatures that road runners come out in the road, and you can have a tendency to try and dodge those. And you just got to be watching for deer, antelope, elk. Things can walk out in the road, and if you hit an elk, they weigh about, 1,500 pounds, 1,200 pounds. It's going to total your car out completely if you hit it. So don't go fast where there's wooded areas, especially wooded areas where you can't see what's approaching the road, like any kind of animals. Could be a cow, horse, anything out there. So I just doing this quick video here to encourage you younger drivers. If you want to remain healthy and live a long time, you will not drive fast in your car, ever. You just don't want to drive fast. You cannot make that much time anyway, because the time you're stopped by the highway patrol for going too fast, you could have made another 40 miles down the road by driving the speed limit. So it's better to drive the speed limit and watch where you're going. So a lot of that is putting a tape in, or looking at a letter you got, or any distraction. You want to reach and change caps. You don't want to do that at 100 mile an hour. It don't take less than a second to be off the road. And if you're off the road, you're not just going to drive back up on the road. It's just not possible. You're out of control. The car's just going to do what it wants to after that. So the best thing to do is watch where you're going. Slow down first. Even stop to change hats or change the stereo or whatever you need to do. Even the controls, air conditioning to heat and all that. Don't look and see what you're doing over there. Just reach over and turn some knobs and see if the air is cooler you can feel the cool air coming at you. So just adjust your knobs, but don't be looking down like that at your dashboard when you're driving fast because you're covering a lot of feet per second. And anyway, they're coming out with a new Chevelle, which I would like to own, a new Chevelle. But I think they're going to be in the $180,000 range, and that's what I'm thinking from the factory. So most of us are not ever going to be able to drive a new Chevelle again like we did back when we were younger. We were working and we're making pretty good money. We could afford those cars, but uh, back then the gasoline was pretty high, and you couldn't really afford to mash on the accelerator too much because your fuel gauge would drop. And you open that 4 barrel up, it would burn some fuel. So my favorite car that I owned was a 442 70 O's, and it had 4 speed, 360 horsepower, I believe, and it was plenty fast. The car would go plenty fast, and I loved that car. But I forgot to make payments on it, so they repossessed it. So any millionaires out there wants to buy me a new Camaro here in a few days or a new Chevelle, I'd be glad to take ownership of a new car if you want to donate a few dollars. And we're going to get out of here and let all these make you a millionaire guys back on the screen. so, gonna. I don't think most of them's ever seen $1 million. So you can make $1 million by doing this, that, or the other. I wouldn't waste my time with all that. Besides all that, life's too short to be trying to get real rich because just about the time you gain a lot of cash flow, you'll be too old to enjoy it anyway. So, all right, we're going to get out of here and see how my video does. And I would appreciate it if everybody would hit to the, this is YouTube. I need to get at least 1,000 subscribers. So if everybody would just hit the subscribe button and get me 1,000 subscribers, I could start getting a paycheck for my videos. And these people advertise, they don't care what I'm talking about. They want to put their advertisement on there if I'm getting subscribers. And YouTube will want to send me a check. So I have a YouTube account and I want to start getting a check. It don't cost anybody anything to hit subscribe. Just hit subscribe and I'll start getting a check. All right. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see what happens after this. See if I can end this. Thank you very much for listening.